Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Startup Blueprint, a legal education platform where we educate business owners, startup founders about how to build businesses with structure and to ensure sustainability. I'm your host, CBK Esquire, also known as the Startup Chick. And before we start, I would like to say that this is a legal educative platform and in no way provides legal advice. So it is important that you seek the services of a qualified legal professional at every point of your business transactions. Now that we have said this, let's get started. Today we are talking about how to choose a niche for your startup. First of all, we have to understand what the word niche actually means. So according to the Merriam-Webster dictionary, a niche means a place, employment, status, or activity for which a person or thing is best fitted. Also, when I went to Google, I also saw a definition that says a niche is a specialized segment of a market, a highly suitable career position, or a recessed hollowed out space wall. So from these two definitions, we can see that the common denominator here is specialization. So in this context, we can say that a niche is basically a product, a solution, or service that is best suited to solve a particular problem in the industry of your choice. And in order for us to understand and choose the best niche that your solution is best suited for, there are certain steps that you have to go through to ensure that one, your niche drives demand, and two, it ensures profitability. Because if you go ahead and choose an industry for your product that is not suited for it, that doesn't drive demand, that doesn't ensure profitability, then it will all be a waste. And we don't want that. So I'm going to use myself as an example, right? Let's say I want to build an app or I want to write a book. The first thing I'm going to do is understand my strengths and my passion and how they are and how I can contribute it to that product. So in this context, if I'm going to write a book or create an app, it's going to be a book that is a guide for business owners or startup founders. So what I'm going to do in this area, I'm going to do my research and look through check for books to see if there are any books that exist like that, if there are any guides for startup founders or business owners for building it in a sustainable way. Because it is a business and legal industry, because that's already a niche on its own. I have to do my research on both fronts, that means in business front and on the legal front as well. So when I have done that, what I'm going to be looking out for here is now what so for so in providing a guide, be it digital or hard copy or in a book, I'm going to look for how these guides are. Are they how big they are, how affordable they are, or how expensive they are? The language of the books, whether it's a complex language, whether it's been written in legalese, whether it's been used in complex business concepts. I'm going to try and see and understand the common factors or the common denominators that all these books have. Once I'm able to do that, then I'll be able to understand how I can provide a solution or how I can provide a guide that is completely different and that will serve the audience that I'm targeting. So in doing this research, in checking out if there are other guides that are available, I'm directly looking for a market gap. I'm looking for a vacuum that I can fill in that niche or in that niche that already exists. So after I found my market gap, I'm going to define my target audience. Now, when we talk about business owners, startup founders, there are a lot of groups of business owners and startup founders in the world, in Nigeria. There's the older generation of business owners and startup founders. There's the younger generation. there's the tribal. There are also business owners and founders that have different levels of literacy. There are also some that are more technically inclined. And so I have to consider all this and decide who I'm writing a book for. So when you're picking your target audience, the best way for you to do this is create a personality. Just imagine that your target audience is a person, is one person. It will be much easier for you to define and decide who that target audience is and be able to create your product that is tailored to target audience preference. So now I'm creating a guide for a younger generation of software developers or tech founders or tech startup founders. I'm going to ensure that my guide is simplified. I'm going to ensure that it's not too long because startup founders don't like wasting time reading too much. Okay, they just need a simple guide that will just tell them what to do, how to do it. And the language has to be simplified. And so I have to consider all this. I have to consider the preference of my target audience avatar, if I must say, in order to make sure that my product is really tailored to the taste of my target audience. Do you see how we are niching down our product bit by bit? So now that we have figured out who our target audience is, we're going to go further to carry out more research on more ways we can actually tailor the product to suit the target audience. I already mentioned a few. I already mentioned what the preference of a young tech startup founder will be. So it depends on what products you are going for. If you're going for a product that is naturally attractive for an older generation or an even much younger generation or a semi-literate group of persons or in terms of ethnicity or various areas of the country, all these things have to be considered, and that's why you have to do intense market research. Once you've done this, you also have to study your competitors. All right. Now that you have a target audience, you have a product, you have a niche, you've niched down your product. You need to now check and see if there are people that have already done this guide for for your target audience. So for me, I'm still going to have to go back and check if there's anybody that has done this guide, the particular guide for the younger generation of tech startup founders. And I'm going to have to do immense market research. I'm going to have to, and it's much easier if it has never been done before, because then you have a bit of creative freedom. But if it has been done before, then you have to actually look through the products of your competitors and see how they're doing, what they're doing, even understand their performance over the period of time that they have introduced that product. After you have studied products of your competitors, you're going to have to apply your research to your product to ensure that your product is innovative, it's fresh, it's new. You don't want to release a product that is already out in the market. It may not give you the traction that you're looking for. You want to give something that fills the gap that's already there in that industry. Once you've studied your competitors, then you can proceed to actually building your product, your solution, or your service. Whatever form it may be, it's still a solution. So once you've built it, this is where you build your minimum viable product, also known as MVP. So once you build your MVP, this will also help you do a little more practical research. So for me that is working on an app that serves as a guide for business owners and startup founders. I'm naturally going to have to build an app, and once I do that, I'm not going to put it out there. I'm not going to publish it for people to start subscribing or paying. No, I'm going to use it to carry out surveys and look for one or two users that fits my target audience. Give them the app, like give them access to the app. Try and see how they react to it. So let's say I've done my MVP and then I approach a startup founder and I say, oh, hey, please, can you just have a look at this and tell me what you think about this? Tell me how it helps you as a business person, how it helps your business. The feedback that I get from that person is going to serve as kind of a survey for me to go back and see if I have those features that the person may say they would prefer the app to have. So it would be good if you can find as many people as possible to test that product to see how they relate to it, see how it solves that particular problem that you are helping them solve, and then just go back and work on it again. If you get completely negative reviews, that's okay. Just go back, take your time, restore your creative energy and do it again because we're building sustainability here and sustainability is not built in one day. All right. Okay. So remember that the example I'm giving is for an app. If you're working on a book or a service or a solution, there are other ways you can still carry out your market research through surveys, research, interviews. Like there are many ways that you can carry out this market research to check the preferences of your target audience and ensure that you are building a product that will be on demand. Lastly, after you have carried out your market analysis on your product, you've checked it out with your proposed target audience, gotten your feedback, you're still currently working on it, seeing how working on it, perfecting it for your first formal launch. You have to also confirm whether the product will give you profit. That is basically ensuring that you have accessibility to profit. Because if your product does not give you profit, then everything that you're doing is a waste of time and resources. So you have to ensure that the product that you're building is on high demand. And I know I've said this before, but I'm going to say it again. That it's on high demand and once it's on high demand, that means it can give you profit. And the only way that you can ensure this is to ensure that you are providing a product that is efficient, that fills the gap of target audience, of audience that you are targeting in that industry. So, in conclusion to all that I said, now that we've taken time to go through the process of choosing a niche, I'm sure we can see the importance of carrying out our research, understanding how the structure of our products will work, and just understanding the industry where we want to provide or we want to provide a certain solution or service so that you can move in a structured and clarified way to ensure that your resources are not wasted, to ensure that you're not burnt out, to ensure that you don't feel frustrated at some point because you have not chosen your niche the right way. Thank you for watching this video. If this helps, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And also follow us on Instagram at the Startup Blueprint, where we share more insights and updates on our upcoming webinars for our business owners and startup founders. Until next time, I remain humble host, CDK Expert. Bye.